What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It is I, your Morphinominal host, Adam Perez, back once again with another Zenkaiger review as we're about to go ahead and get into episode number 45, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, after this week's episode, 4 more to go. And if I'm not mistaken, some of the rumors that we definitely have going around is the fact that maybe Don Momotaro might be joining us for the last 4 episodes. We'll see what happens once we dive into next week's episode, but we gotta talk about this week's episode in Zenkaiger episode number 45. What the F is going on with Stacey right now and this whole storyline? It's definitely leaving me scratching my head here trying to figure out what's going on and really connect all the pieces. Believe it or not, as much as you guys, and I say this all the time, love-hate relationship between me and Zenkaiger, there is a part of me that actually wants to go back and rewatch this series to see, did I miss anything? Did I miss any clues in particular as to certainly what's going on? Because I got some questions with four episodes certainly left to go. Couple things here. Gege, let's just get Gege out of the way. Definitely very much exposed in this episode where Barashitara is really catching on to him, sees him over at the parallel world gate, activating it, messing with the settings or whatever the case may be. Now Barashitara is under the impression that maybe it was Gege who's the traitor, right? The one that let Stacey certainly go. So he's definitely on to Gege, but I don't think he has any clue just like what he's certainly stumbling upon. So I'm really interested to kind of see exactly how that's going to play itself out. I'm assuming if anything we'll probably get a Barashitara and Gege confrontation at some particular point in time. But what's fascinating to me in here is the fact that Gege is very much sort of unaware that he even sent the world down in the previous episode, right? I mean, I was very much under the impression that it was Gege manipulating other people in the sense of maybe mind control or using some sort of controlling powers against them, if you will. But it almost feels like now there's something else working sort of through Gege, if that makes sort of any sense. The fact that he didn't remember that he sent the world down in response to what Bokawas was talking about last week, right? Like we saw Gigi's eyes glow the moment he was talking to Bokawas, saying that he had a brilliant idea. Saw his eyes glow again once we saw him taking over the body of Stacey, if you will. But now it seems very much as though in this episode, Gege has no clue what's going on. And what I find interesting too is during that particular scene, there is like a static interference or some sort of like, I don't know what type of interference or something that winds up making the screen and image itself kind of glitch. Almost like something drops or something stops, right? And I think once that happens, we get the reveal or understanding that Gigi's really not aware as to what happened, almost like this veil has been sort of taken over his eyes, if you will. And I feel like the same time that we saw that is the same moment that we see Stacey sort of coming around once again and actually being in his own body, very much not aware as to what he's been up to the entire time. I think he definitely has the memories of it, but he personally doesn't remember actually taking part in doing it himself, almost like he's been walking around subconsciously. So I do like that scene where we see Stacey kind of plotting and trying to think things through in regards to how he ended up where he did. It was also a really weird push for his music video, because I believe the actor that plays Stacey is like a pop star over in Japan or something like that. So it feels like, hey, this is your moment to get your promotion for what you actually do, if you will. So it was just a really weird sort of split screen where you see Stacey as Staceasar, but you also see like the real actor that's Stacey performing his music video. And in the middle, it's kind of recapping us on everything that Stacey wind up doing during this time that Stacey just unfortunately does not remember. All of that stuff seems to happen when we see that Gege and Bokawas scene where we get that static or that interference or like that really weird screen glitch. And there's something really familiar about that screen glitch. Like I've seen it before in this season, but I feel like I cannot pinpoint where I've seen it before. And there's a reason why. I think that's the main reason why I want to go back and rewatch this series to a certain extent, is to try and see, does that screen glitch come up anyplace else, and where does it? And if so, is there somebody that maybe is making himself obvious that he has this type of power or type of ability to control people or whatever the case may be, or drop that control at any particular point in time? So we definitely see Stacey along with Gege kind of going back and forth, which I think a lot of us were under the assumption that maybe it was Gege that was mind controlling Stacey and having his way and pulling the strings. Well, I do think that there is some elements to Gege that is very much has his own intentions. It feels very much like there's an even bigger power at play here than even maybe Gege recognizes, or maybe they're somehow working together. I'm not quite sure. 4 episodes to go, man, and I got myself a bunch of question marks, especially when we get the opportunity to see Stacey doing what he's doing at the end of this episode in regards to like leveling up to god power status, if you will, right? Just the mere idea of being able to put up his hand and like liberate an entire world, right? Remove everything that's taking place on Earth, remove the powers from, you know, the big mecha at the very end and things like that, really absorbing it into himself and literally like turning it into salt or whatever the case may be, like truly liberating our world and their world. The Omi Kuji, is that what it is? The Omi Kuji world, liberating it with ease. And then his simple response is the idea of that he created all these worlds, which was kind of fascinating to me. I do love that Majin and Vroom's reaction to the idea of what Stacey certainly did, because it blew my mind. It had my jaw dropping. I had no idea what Stacey was certainly doing, but to be able to have that type of power to just liberate a world at just the snap of your fingers or the raising of your hands sort of thing really speaks volumes as to whoever this entity is or whoever's controlling Stacey and maybe even Gege, a lot more powerful than I think even we certainly imagine. And he even references himself as sort of the god to all of this, if you will. Now, whether or not that means our god on Earth or all the other god, or God as somebody else who created all these other worlds and stuff, we'll see exactly how truthful he is, and just has he made his presence known somehow in this series before? Is this truly our first time getting to see it, or has there been hints of this character throughout the series and we just haven't been privy to it? So I have no idea what's going on with Stacey, but I am really fascinated. They definitely have me intrigued. I just hope that by the time that this season wraps up, they're able to certainly go ahead and put all the pieces together for us, certainly as a viewer. And I did like the Stacey stuff, outside of even him leveling up, if you will. Just that idea of when he does attempt to try and go back to the candy shop, I do appreciate him acknowledging that, man, I must really care about Yi-chan that much if I'm still trying to come back here subconsciously, right? Like if I still manage to find my way here and I'm not even the one in control, that's got to speak volumes and certainly say something in regards to what not only Yi-chan, but really what the Zenkaigers and Kaido have truly meant for him in regards to helping him out this entire time, sort of thing. So I really do like Stacey's path this entire season. I just wish that, if anything, they didn't drag out this simple storyline, if you will, all season long. I really would have liked to have seen more twists and turns as the season progresses, or at least more impactful moments to get us to that particular finale moment. But really fascinated to see what's going to be happening when it comes to Stacey along with Gege. But I definitely want to know your guys' thoughts. Do you guys have some theories in particular? Do you guys recall seeing that glitch in the screen or that interference prior, or am I just the only one that thinks, man, that moment looks pretty familiar, like I've seen that happen before? So I really don't know who's in control anymore. Does Gege have a master plan, or is there somebody that's controlling Gege that has a master plan that can also use his powers to influence other people? I guess we'll have to see as the story continues to unfold. A quick honorable mention of some other things here. Cool to see the combination once again of the Super Zenkai-O Jurin. It's pretty weird. Honestly, it was a little bit weird in this episode to know that Zox is nowhere to be found. So that additional help that we're so used to is not there. And for me, I kind of appreciate it in the sense that, like, okay, we can actually see our Zenkaigers sort of struggling for a bit. Not to say that things have always been easy for this team, But after Power Up, after brand new Zords countless times, super modes, having two Kaiser by your side, it really has always felt like the Zenkaigers are pretty much untouchable. So for this to be the first episode with Zox and the rest of the Gold Tweakers not around, no combination that you have to rely on between Zenkaiser and two Kaiser and stuff, having to come up with different combinations or relying on old things that you certainly used to do. I kind of really enjoyed it. So cool to see the Super Zenkai Ojurin back once again. And I am fascinated in the usage of the Sentai gears that this particular team utilized. Since they had to face off against Amikuji, the Amikuji world here, they wind up unfortunately getting a strain of bad luck. And it's actually Sichan that recommends, hey, why not use one of the gears or a couple of the gears, or maybe I think it might have been from the Zenkai canon, to maybe hopefully bring some luck to you guys, right? Maybe using some lucky team members, if you will. And while Kaido certainly goes about doing that, the three that he winds up summoning have a fatal ending to them, unfortunately. And there is a part of me that wonders, are these like three Super Sentai members or teams that have, like, as their actors, have their actors passed away, or have their characters sort of met their demise in the series, if you will? Because the yellow Go Ranger, I should say, the yellow Go Ranger really jumped out at me in regards to seeing him kind of destroyed. Because unfortunately, for those of you who don't know, the actor that played the Yellow Ranger, I think he wind up committing suicide, or he wind up dying like a few years after Go Ranger wind up airing and things like that. Guy was really struggling, unfortunately. So I am wondering if that's a nod to the unfortunate passing of some of the Rangers, whether that be maybe in costume or out of costume. If that's about right, please go ahead and let me know in the comment section box below in regards to the Rangers that were, or the Sentai Rangers that were in fact summoned in here. Outside of that, when it comes to the world itself, I actually kind of enjoyed it in regards to just the humor and the levity that it definitely brings to this episode. Really kind of the idea here is that the Amikuji world delivers fortunes. It winds up shooting out what your fortune is going to be, most likely. And unfortunately, it's a lot of bad luck for all of our good guys here, if you will. But I did find it hilarious that the bad guys get all the luck also. So I thought that was actually pretty funny. So you have to the Zenkaigers really have to worry about not only them messing it up, but then also the idea of trying to avoid the Kudaks, who've got great luck on their side. And as much as they try and fight, the Zenkaiger still continue to get defeated, or things just continue to not go certainly their way. So it definitely made me laugh, to say the least, especially when the guy wind up referring to them as the bad luckers, instead of the Zenkaigers, the bad luckers. I actually thought it was pretty funny. But honestly, the action really worked for me in here. It was really hilarious in the idea of just seeing them trying to fight and overcome their bad luck at the same time, right? Like, we've got Majin, who uses her power of fortune telling to access one of her fortunes, and unfortunately it comes up as more bad luck. But since a lot of her fortunes tend to always be wrong, she reads that fortune as, it's good luck on my side. And despite the fact that there's really not good luck on her side, that mindset of really like believing in it, if you will, is enough to definitely go ahead and help the Zenkaigers just full, what did he say, full power courage or something like that, I believe is what he said. So really the idea of believing in yourself really kind of overcame a lot of that bad luck, despite the fact that bad luck was definitely trying its hardest to avoid them from actually fighting, which really made the fight even more hilarious. Like the idea of Kaido's cape getting stuck on Gown's head and yet still pulling forward enough to where the cape rips and it gives him that forward momentum to hit homeboy with a kick. I really love just the creativity and the fun that really came out of the fight sequence in here, and really get an opportunity to see Majin really help motivate the rest of the team to use their positivity and courage to overcome bad luck. So I actually thought that was pretty funny. And even the idea of them utilizing Majin as sort of a final attack, grabbing her arms and her legs and just swinging her forward sort of thing, it worked for me. It worked for me. I definitely had fun with the theme of the Amikuji world. I'm sorry, guys. I have no idea what Amikuji is. This is my first time getting an opportunity to hear it, so I'm tripping over my words trying to pronounce this thing correctly. But overall, I really enjoyed the episode. The episode was at least fun to me. The world this week, the theme, definitely helped attribute that. But if anything, a lot more mystery in this episode than I personally was expecting. But I want to know, do you guys have any answers for me? What is going on with Gege along with Stacey now that he's accessed sort of his god level powers here? And you know, what's it going to take to certainly get our Stacey certainly back? Because it seems as though Kaido and the rest of the team are definitely quite concerned. But I'm looking forward to it, guys. The last 4 episodes here, Zenkaiger has been rather enjoyable for the most part, the last half of the season. So I am certainly enjoying it. If anything, I am going to be curious to see how this season ends. And if the ending and wrap-up is a lot better than it's launching off when it began. But we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, guys, remember, these are just simply my A+ opinions. I want to know yours. What did you guys think of Zenkaiger episode number 45? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular video airs. And we'll definitely be back next week for our next Zenkaiger review for you guys. And I believe we should be having ourselves a press conference here within the next week or so for Don Brothers. So a lot certainly headed your way, guys. But until then, do me a big favor as always. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Full throttle, non-stop. Have a good one, guys. Bye.